And good evening. Oh, I hope everybody had a good day today. We said that we were going to be here a little late tonight. Not much later, about 30 minutes later than expected. Um, I know we were not streaming last night, and that was because of a Riftbound TCG card tournament that we ended up going to, and I wound up being okay. I did not perform well in the tournament, but I did pull a very valuable card out of my pre-release pack, which is very exciting. But anyway, so welcome in this evening as we are going to. So we finished in our last stream this week. Actually, we managed to get through all of Pragmata, all of it, and I was kind of surprised. I kind of thought we'd still probably be on Pragmata tonight, but I was proven wrong, and um, we wound up actually getting through it all the way. Yeah, under 10 hours, I think, is what the actual playtime said, but like the PlayStation playtime, which does include menu time, I think was like 11 or 12 hours. But we did get through Pragmata. Absolutely amazing. Golly. Like, I will say, off stream last night, like, I booted up and did some of the VR stuff, just the training modules, just to kind of check it out. And, I had a good time with that. I don't know if anyone else has played more of the training modules. I kind of dabbled because some of them are pretty hard actually, but I did dabble in them a little bit, and I also did. I looked at all the bonus rooms in the unknown signal is what that mode is called after we beat the game. I did kind of eyeball some of those, and a lot of it to unlock new things are like fully completing the different areas, beating a certain boss, like without taking damage, like different things like that. So kind of intense actually. And I may explore some of that for sure. And I thought about streaming that tonight and just going through that, but I could tell kind of how frustrating that it was. And in being able to tell how frustrating it was going to be, I that this wasn't going to be a good time. So I had alluded to it during the stream where we wrapped up with Pragmata that we'd probably jump back into Starfield, and that is exactly what we're going to do tonight. We are going to pivot back over to Starfield, which is what we did our test streams of whenever we were getting this whole thing going before we ironed out the schedule there. And we did pretty good sticking to that this week. I was kind of nervous. This was kind of a trial run as well, but we did pretty good. We were here Monday through Thursday, but then this is the weekend that is the every other weekend, and we didn't do Friday because of the card tournament, but we did. We're here tonight. We're just here a little bit later, so this has worked out. It was kind of the schedule was also kind of a trial for me. Now, I will say the thought of 8:30 to 12:30, that may be a little much. We may just stick with 8:30 to 11:30 consistently, and if so, like I'll update that. But we're gonna see how things go tonight as far as time is concerned. So we'll see how it goes. But ultimately, we accomplished my what I would say was like my first goal. I know we have a follower goal, which will um, you'll see on our screen. Our follower goal is still 10. So if you're watching on Twitch and you like what you're seeing, you're having fun with us, just kind of hanging out and everything. Also, I feel like I should clarify. I say we and us a lot, and obviously it's just me here. But I do that because the Midnight Release podcast, that's this channel, is a nostalgia fueled gaming media, really all things nostalgia, more probably heavily in games centric podcast that myself and my buddy Austin do. And occasionally we bring on his brother Wayne and our buddy Howie. And we're 26 episodes in to that pod so far. We are recording episode 27 tomorrow night, which we've already talked about on the pod, but it's going to be an episode that's focused all around DC films, cartoons, TV, live action, the games. We did one that was very MCU focused, or it was supposed to be, and we ended up talking about everything Marvel, like not just MCU. But DC, the only thing we ever had of a universe was what Zack Snyder did. And of course, we have what James Gunn is doing now, but there's only one movie of those out. So it's really just all things DC. So we're recording that tomorrow. Of course, that will come out Monday night at midnight like we normally release them. But that's kind of what's going on with the pod. But a lot of the we's and us is because I'm so used to saying that. So just to clarify kind of what I mean there. But also, anyone who keeps up with the Kentucky Derby at all, we're gonna say congratulations to the horse that won the Derby today, which was Golden Tempo. Yeah, Golden Tempo won the Derby today. So anyone who happened to have bet on the race, hopefully you won some money. But it was a good time. That was also the reason behind the little bit later of a start. Was when you're in this area and the Kentucky Derby is going on, you undoubtedly just do everything Derby related. So, anywho, like I said, tonight's focus is going to be around Starfield. More specifically, we're not really we may get to some story stuff, but if you're familiar with Bethesda games, they notoriously have like different factions for you to do. They have the different guilds in the Elder Scrolls games, and Fallout have the same mechanism too with the different factions. Starfield does the same and has several different factions. And one of the things I love about Starfield so much were the faction quests. And when we were doing our trial stream, that's what we were working on was the United Colonies faction. So that's where we're going to pick up and start from. And then, if we get through that, I don't know how many missions are left. I've made some pretty good headway through it already. But, then we'll pivot to one of the other factions or something like that. We may do some story stuff. But ultimately, the thought is working through the faction quests. I will ask a couple questions just out of curiosity for folks. If you've played Pragmata, I'm really curious on your thoughts and your review of it. I put it 9 out of 10. I was thoroughly impressed, like very, very impressed. I've heard some people saying like game of the year, and that makes, I don't know. There's so many things coming out this year. I could see it being nominated, but I don't know with everything else coming out if a 10, 11 hour story game that does have replayability and an amazing story and looks great is something that will be able to outperform something like RE9 or, of course, GTA 6 when it comes out. I'm biased because Wolverine will be coming out and very much looking forward to that. Any Sony exclusive. I've been hearing a lot of good things about Soros. I don't know if that's a Game of the Year contender or not, but I've been hearing a lot of good things about that. So, anywho, let me know what you think of Pragmata. Very curious. And then if you've played Starfield, I'd like to hear what folks think of it. I played the crap out of it on Xbox when it released and did New Game Plus a few times. Really loved it. Of course, that was, a year or more ago. I can't remember when it came out. So playing it again on PlayStation like we are, it's really giving me, I don't know, it's really, I do really bad about remembering things. Like when it comes to game plot lines, like unless it's something that I have just worn out. That's why I can tell everybody the story of Metal Gear from literally the beginning to the end because I love them so much. But I say that to say, like with Starfield, I remember some aspects, like loosey-goosey as far as the story and the factions, but there are parts that I have forgotten about, and I'm like, oh crap, I forgot all about that. So, and that's just how my brain works. There's so many other games that I've played since then. I feel like the one of most recent memory, I always use Metal Gear as the example, but Expedition 33 is still super fresh in my mind from everything I did with that game. Because that's another game that I played and did New Game Plus, I think twice on Xbox, and then I finished it on PlayStation, but I haven't done New Game Plus yet. Also, I acknowledge, of course, it's the evening, but we've got our coffee so that we can go ahead and jump into our playthrough tonight of Faction Quest on Starfield. So let's go ahead and get that pulled over. So let me know what you think of Starfield. Let me know what you thought of Pragmata if you've played it. But we are going to, I think, I would say, everyone knows with, they did an autosave after I did my manual save. You always got to save a bunch on any Bethesda game. I think everyone knows that. Like, you have to go absolutely ham to do that. So let's go ahead and load our save here. That's our most recent. And if you're not someone who is playing Pragmata, or what are you playing right now? Are you grinding the new Soros game? Are you playing Windrose, which I wish I could play if my PC could handle it? What are you playing right now? What's got your attention? Okay, so quick recap here. So let's go into our missions. So we are working on the UC faction quest right now. Now we've done several of these, or two of these already. Or no, yeah, I've definitely done more than two. That's why I think I'm close again. And essentially what we're doing with the UC is there are these terramorphs, these aliens, if you will, that were responsible for like wiping out civilizations and things. And there was a very rampant strain of terramorphs that existed on a planet or a colony called Londinian. And that particular type of terramorph has shown up at another colony where they wiped out a bunch of people. And we're working with a former member of, military science division named Hadrian, who basically we've gathered her team and have determined that the terramorph sample, because we had to kill one. Okay, so we had to kill an alien. That sample was Londinian, which isn't really adding up right. So we've gotten approval through the UC and the collective, like, governing body. Think like the UN, between like the UC, which is United Colonies, the Freestar Collective, and then the Varun, which is like these religious zealots, to get access to historical Londinian data. And now we are working with the team to determine how to deal with terramorphs. You can see my objective right now is to follow Hadrian because she has a plan on how to deal with the terramorphs, and I need to follow her. Now, the caveat to this quest line, and what I thought was a really cool thing, Hadrian, now keep in mind, Bethesda, the information that you get and can communicate is heavily based on decisions and the consequences that come through that. But in this case, I've learned that Hadrian is a clone of a guy named Vae Victus, who was like this war hero meets like terrorist, basically. Basically, her whole thing is that he's dead. She's a clone from him. Blah blah blah. Well, we find out he's alive, and the UC is keeping him in like a hidden prison underneath the not Citadel. That's Mass Effect. Underneath the whatever the name of the main city is. It escapes me right now. And so, of course, I have told Hadrian that he's alive. So there is that. That's one of the choices that you can make. But where we are now is essentially what you're seeing on the screen. We're going to follow Hadrian, find out if she has a plan for dealing with these terramorphs or not. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to follow her. I think she's already downstairs now that I think about it. Yeah. And we're going to see what the plan is.
You remember that creature we talked about before you went to Nira? The thing that eats terramorphs, the Asyles?
Yeah, pretty sure I remember that.
Apparently, they were bloodhounds for terramorphs.
So the
But
Asyles.
when the UC ran low on synthetic foods during the colony war, the Asyles were chosen to fill in the gaps.
Okay.
We thought they were harvested to extinction. But in the day
Now, I don't know if I remember this aspect or not. I do think we ultimately wound up with like two different options of how to deal with. Okay.
Bringing them back. We'd breed populations of them.
So they're like bird
distribute them to
dinosaurs.
worlds, and then let nature take its course. Using a method that thousands of years of adaptation.
So letting nature do its
already
thing,
perfected.
basically. Recreating
Speed up their
those.
breeding process using some of the
Oh,
same
so making
technologies
clones,
that we used
basically.
to create me. We even think that with some time and investigation, we could use the Asylees'
This could be
hunting skills
interesting
track down the
to go
terramorph
this path.
transmission methods
Now,
that colonize.
I remember, like I said, I remember being
Find out
given
how
two.
humanity spread them.
I remember being given two options here. So one, definitely, yeah, I remember about the Achilles, and that actually sounds like the best idea, like hearing it. But I feel like I went with whatever the second one was. I can't particularly remember which one I went with, but I don't know what you all think. But for me, I like this idea. Using aliens to our own end sounds like Xeno Warfare Team all over again. Not sure I like the idea of introducing random aliens to human worlds. Are these Asylees things dangerous? Now, that could play a role. If they're dangerous or not.
If you pick a fight with one, or you're a terramorph.
Okay, so that could
But
be,
Asylees
I
were
mean,
already spread across the galaxy once before during the colony.
yeah, but what if some idiot tries to go up to an Asylees and then it attacks it?
One we're proposing to clean up.
Conceptually, it sounds like a good idea.
I really think it could.
Yeah, I mean, it does sound like a good idea.
Another option for removing the terramorphs from our worlds. It's faster, maybe even more efficient, but riskier. A microbe. Something we could aerosolize.
Okay.
Let spread
So an
and
aerosol
have it clean up
microbe.
Anything with terramorph DNA for us.
Almost like a virus. So kind of like what they're trying to do in The Boys right now.
Their transmission method.
Spoiler alert, not spoiler
It
alert.
would still take
If you're
time
watching
to
The Boys right now, that's what this whole last season is about, by the way. If you're not caught up, you would have seen it in the last season, but it's a similar methodology of what they're talking about. Sounds like you're playing with fire. Oh, I could go ahead and pick right now. What kind of risks with the microbe?
Percival assures me that they're minimal.
Okay, they're minimal, but what are
We'll be
they?
able to encode safeguards against mutation in the agent's genetics, so that they stick to the task.
I mean, this all sounds good.
But the microscopic world has a tendency to behave in ways you can't.
Oh.
So to say
Well, and
it's
what
zero risk,
if they like develop an immunity to that? Like if they were to develop an immunity to this aerosol, yeah, let's discuss how we can make them a reality.
So that's tricky.
I'm leaning toward the
Both
the
plans are going to
Asylees
take major investments in time and resources.
because I feel like that. I mean, letting nature run its course because the Asylees naturally killed and attacked
We
terramorphs.
can breed quickly and consistently to test on. Asylees gene samples we
Oh,
can use
Lord.
to build their bloodlines.
There's all kinds of stuff.
Or sharpen our microbes tracking skills. Not the sort of things any labs just got
Yep.
lying around.
So our quest is going to be. I think this is where we determine which
place
one.
in the known galaxy where we know we should be able
Oh,
to find
so we're going
all
to try and
paths-
find everything right out of the gate.
all paths
Oh,
lead
I just
to
realized that I didn't turn on my Metal Gear sign that you can't even see, but I like to have turned on anyway. Ooh. Sliding around. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go to Londinian.
Exactly what I was hoping to hear.
I mean, if that's where we need to go to
Now,
get stuff.
the UC has a small operating base.
So Londinian is the colony in which they got wiped out by the Terramorphs before. So I don't. It sounds like the UC's just got a base, but
Londinian
yeah, it belongs to the Terramorphs.
belongs to the Terramorphs. They'll have anti-Xeno gear for us at the base, but
Okay.
make sure you've got your favorite arms on hand.
Ah, this is about to be. All right, proceed to Londinian. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now, all right? This is the reason why Starfield gets so much hate. And I do understand, because of the way it was marketed, that there are some issues. But the issue with Starfield was very much around the travel. Well, hello. Was around travel. And I will say the travel, if you're wanting something like No Man's Sky, it doesn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. When I'm wanting to get that creative open world space vibe, like when that's what I'm looking for, I will play Starfield. Like that's my go-to, or not Starfield. Sorry, No Man's Sky. This game, like I said, I like the faction quest. I do like the world. I like the environments. I like the gameplay. Like I enjoy it, and everything. However, all that being said, I totally, when I have a quest, I will fast travel to wherever it is as soon as I'm given the option to do so. And I know that's an unpopular opinion, to use fast travel. And there are games that I don't use fast travel. I don't know about you, if there are games that you all are playing where you refuse to use. What is the UC SCC Chimera calling me for? So that's coming through my controller. I need to change that daggone setting. But Londinian is not permitted, basically, is what he's saying. So yeah, I'm cleared to be here. Yeah.
All right, you can proceed.
You can proceed. We'll let them know you're on your way down. All right. Good deal. So I'll use fast travel for this. I do not always use fast travel though. There are games, that the travel, mechanics or whatever you want to call it, or the world is so good. Like I know, like Red Dead Redemption 2, I know it has a fast travel mechanic and it's kind of weird, but I didn't really use it much. GTA, I never really used. Well, I don't think they had a fast travel, but Starfield, no, like the idea of being somewhere like where I just was on Mars in the Red Devil base, I would have had to leave there, trek across Mars, not that far, but trek across Mars, get to my ship, take off. Like that's a lot. And I'm not gonna, so I fast travel a lot. I know it's a hot take. I know it's not very popular, but I don't mind it. Like I really don't. So we're gonna land at the forward operating base on Londinian. I think we have to get outfitted with like really cool freaking weapons and stuff. Yeah, there's my Star Eagle and my Chase Windu colors. All right. Let's go ahead and exit ship.
Irvin would have loved to work. That's fine. When you have time, of course. Dusty.
Do I still have Barrett with me? I do have Barrett with me. All right. We got our waypoint over yonder. So this is the FOB, forward operating base of... Yeah. Okay, my bad. Sorry. I will say this, having played Pragmata lately, like I feel I'm probably gonna jack up some of my controls on this because of doing Pragmata so much. I did not check my inventory. 120, 185, I'm good. All right, let's come talk to the captain.
I pride myself on knowing everyone on this world, and I don't know you. You're with the collection team then, I presume. Either that, or you're one deeply unlucky trespasser.
Mixture of both. No, Captain, when do you see Vanguard? You're expecting me.
Vanguard, eh? Brief said you were an eclectic group. You must have really
I don't know if that's a compliment or not, being called eclectic. I think it's a compliment.
Ah,
Just different,
then this
unique.
must be the rest of your outfit.
Commander Hatum,
No need for introductions, Major Saman.
Yeah, everyone knows her.
Your reputations precede you, as does the urgency of your mission. So I'll get to it. Now, Londinian is one of the most dangerous places in the Milky Way. It's with good reason my soldiers and I do everything we can to avoid entering the city.
Yeah, it's terramorphs everywhere.
And the structural damage left behind.
Yeah.
When Major Sanon's father bombed its spaceport, has turned large swathes of the metropolis into a decaying labyrinth. As such, we'll be providing you all with gear, information, and uploading municipal.
Give me all of the things that you have.
Tool you could need to succeed out there.
I support it.
One. Once you're on the other side of those barriers, you will be on your own. If you get into trouble, my people.
So I need to make sure I load up on some guns and
Do you
gear.
understand each other?
Yeah, that makes sense. No one's gonna come help me.
Precisely. I'll leave you to your preparations then. You can find your equipment in our armory.
I will happily take all of the equipment in the
There's
armory.
someone waiting for you there, Captain. Now, once you're outside the base, it's my personal suggestion you make a beeline to the nearby Aceles plant. It contains one of our field caches. Though I can't guarantee it won't contain anything else. I hope you all find what you're looking for out there. Robot, you're coming with me.
Yes, ma'am.
thank you, Commander. Percival, you all set to hook into their comms tower?
Maybe.
A few minutes. Let's get this done and get the hell out of here.
Well, this is great. I just got a text message from AT&T
Samples from here. When he finds
that
one,
they are
he'll
doing work
to us out in the field.
on something this evening, and there could be fiber interruptions, of course. Well, just know that if this stream suddenly cuts off, it could be due to that. And depending on how long it is down, I can try and connect to my phone, or we may just have to pick this up on Monday. I hope we are not impacted. We will have to see. But we're going to keep trucking until we are. So let's just see. With Percival, let's get this over
No
fast.
argument here. Head over to the armory and
Yep,
gear up.
I'm going to go to the armory for sure. Yeah, anyone popping in here, if we get interrupted, it is going to be, I may have some internet issues based on a text message that I just got. So if that happens, we will try and get connected to my hotspot and come right back. But if not, if I'm not able to get connected, then we're just going to end up picking this up on Monday. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I would love to get through the UC Colonies quest line because I do very much remember enjoying it because you've got the whole unique scenario with Hadrian and Vindictus with her. Well, wait a minute now. Where's the armory at? Vindictus, not Vindictus. Vindictus. It is a very interesting dynamic, if I remember correctly. Okay, the armory's in here.
Heard you're going out there willing.
Can I? Oh, it's right here. Ooh, tombstone. I'm about to. Oh, let me talk to you. You gonna give me some gear or anything like that?
The cabinet wanted you to have something. Make sure
Let's
you
see
have
what's
the best
gonna
chance
happen
to
here.
look after